Listen, y'all, I've got some piping hot tea that's about to scorch your teacups. Word on the street is Blake Lively just got exposed for doing the unthinkable, trying to bribe judges to hide some seriously shady truths. Yes, Chile, you heard me right. This scandal is bigger than a Hollywood blockbuster and juicier than any tabloid headline. We're talking $100 million mysteries, hush-hush court documents, frantic PR cover-ups, and secret messages nobody wants you to see. So get cozy, honey, because this story is wilder than anything you ever saw on the big screen. Let's start at the beginning, where all this nonsense first exploded. When word broke that Blake Lively had filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, everybody took a step back, raised an eyebrow, and wondered what in the world was going on. She paraded herself around as if she were the most innocent, helpless victim on the entire planet, practically begging us all to play the violins. From talk show buzz to tabloids, the world was told a dramatic tale. Big, bad Justin Baldoni was out here doing her wrong, and she was just a misunderstood star who needed justice. But guess what, sis? The tea started brewing when we found out her so-called smoking gun. Evidence was shakier than a one-legged table. At first, she had the media eating out of the palm of her hand with claims that range from workplace intimidation to forced, uncomfortable film scenes. She was painting Justin as the ultimate villain and had all the receipts, or so she said. Well, that's where the cracks began to show. Legal experts, entertainment journalists, and even some fans noticed something wasn't adding up. Certain allegations appeared to shift. Others lacked details, and when pressed, her team threw around big words that never quite addressed the real issues. It's like they wanted everyone to accept Blake's story at face value. No questions asked. But honey, you cannot serve a half-baked lawsuit and expect folks not to see the lumps in the batter. Even in the earliest stages, the rumor mill was buzzing about whether this lawsuit was for real, or if it was just a PR strategy. People close to Hollywood know all too well how certain celebs weaponize the media to spin a narrative that benefits them. And this, my friend, seemed to be the first sign that Blake Lively's entire victim shtick might be a facade, carefully crafted to generate sympathy and headlines. But that wasn't the whole story. Now let me tell you, when I heard about the amended complaint being 180 pages long, I nearly choked on my iced coffee. Yes, 180 pages. That's not a lawsuit. Boo, that's a novel. Most folks in the legal world will confirm that your average lawsuit runs, at best, between 20 and 25 pages, unless we're talking about a massive corporate meltdown. So how did a little Hollywood scuffle balloon into a document that's longer than some dictionaries? Girl, the drama here is that once the original claims began to crumble, Blake's team went into overdrive. They added every new tidbit and rumor they could scrape off the streets, turning the complaint into a monstrous piece of PR material. For real, reading it felt like sifting through a tabloid. There were more accusations than a Real Housewives reunion special. Every few paragraphs, there was a new spin, a new twist, or a new piece of evidence that read suspiciously like it had been curated to catch headlines. Legal analysts were side-eyeing this thing from day one. One of them outright said it appeared Blake's lawyers were more interested in shaping public opinion than in achieving any real legal victory. And baby, you know it's bad when even the suits in fancy offices are calling out a star's tactics. Frankly, the text seemed engineered for public consumption, like it was an attempt to force a media narrative. If we bury the court in pages, maybe the public will get lost in the chaos, seemed to be the motto. Honey, let me tell you, that's not how the law works. Judges have no patience for folks who manipulate the system just to snatch headlines. When you slap the court with 180 pages of accusations, some of which contradict your earlier statements, you'd better bring your A game. Otherwise, you're just throwing confetti in the air, hoping no one notices there's no substance behind it. And what happened next would shock everyone. Now, we all know the moment that truly blew this case wide open. Blake was flaunting one particular piece of evidence that she claimed was so horrific, so revealing, it had buried Justin Baldoni once and for all, a video of them on set together. According to her, the footage showed her in distress, forced into an embarrassing situation, or who knows what else. People everywhere were talking, speculating, and passing judgment. But oh, the gag was too good. An unedited version of that same video leaked. And in it, Ms. Blake Lively is seen smiling, engaging, and looking about as comfortable as a starlet can be. Let that sink in. The very piece of evidence she'd waved around like a flaming sword turned out to show the opposite of what she'd claimed. If that's not a fiasco, I don't know what is. In court, if you lie once, the jury can be told to ignore everything else you say. That's how serious credibility is. Girl, all it takes is one bold-faced lie, and the judge can say, Jury, disregard every last bit of her testimony. That's the legal equivalent of flipping the lights off on your entire argument. And guess what happened next? Blake changed her story. First, she was forced into that scene. Then, when the footage showed she was perfectly fine, she suddenly claimed Justin wasn't in character, and she was forced to act like she liked him. Baby, that's literally what you do for a living. Act in scenes. The entire lawsuit started to read like comedic fiction. One lie leads to another, and the house of cards wobbles under the slightest breeze. Legal analysts watching this fiasco were shaking their heads. Some even laughed on camera because the contradictions were so blatant. It's tough to keep track of your own tall tales once you start rewriting them on the fly. Sis, and Blake Lively's meltdown was on full display. But hold on, because the real scandal was only beginning. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what you really came for. Those bribery rumors, baby. Because if being exposed in your own contradictory video wasn't humiliating enough, apparently Ms. Lively thought throwing money at the problem might just make it disappear. Allegedly, her team tried to push for something known as attorney's eyes only, a special type of order that keeps crucial evidence sealed, so that only the lawyers, not even the parties themselves, can see certain documents or messages. Now, why would you do that? Usually, it's because there's something seriously incriminating hidden in those documents. And guess what else was whispered in the halls of Hollywood? That there were 100 million reasons why Blake's side wanted all this hush-hush. Girl, does that not sound like they're talking about a plain-as-day bribe? In typical shady lady fashion, the rumor swirling was that her team was willing to make some financial arrangements if certain damaging materials never saw the light of day. Judge Lyman, bless his soul, was not having it. He basically told them, nah, we're not here for that. See, courts are public, and he believed the public had the right to know when a celebrity is trying to use the legal system as a personal puppet show. It was the ultimate shutdown, and it put the spotlight right on Blake's desperation. The meltdown didn't stop there. Word on the street was that Blake and Ryan Reynolds, who's been in the background this whole time, were using every bit of their Hollywood clout to try to smooth things over. That included sweet-talking the media, leaning on judges, and doing whatever it took to keep their secrets buried. Let me just say, if you're tossing around $100 million hush money, it doesn't exactly look like you have nothing to hide, does it? But trust me, the drama was just heating up. So next on Blake's ridiculous to-do list, conjuring up 2 secret witnesses. Girl, yes, 2 new women were suddenly out there, claiming they too had unpleasant experiences with Justin Baldoni. Now, usually more people stepping forward might raise eyebrows, but here's the kicker. These witnesses weren't even named in any official documents. If that sounds fishy, it's because it is sugar. Legal experts immediately asked, if they're so crucial, why are their names missing from the suit? Why hasn't the court recognized their allegations? Because everything about it screamed hush-hush theatrics, an obvious attempt at turning up the heat in the court of public opinion without dealing with legal scrutiny. It's the classic tactic. Fling more accusations around and hope something sticks. And if you thought that was bananas, wait until you hear the next part. In some bizarre twist, Blake's allies in the media started labeling Justin as toxically positive. Girl, I nearly fell off my chair when I heard that. They said he was too happy on set and asked employees to sign emails with love. Now, I'm sorry, but being too nice is a crime now. That's the best they could do. Chile, you can't make this stuff up. One day, Justin Baldoni is some terrifying menace. The next, he's just too cheerful. Even major media outlets, typically eager to jump on a scandal, refused to run with this story because it was so flimsy it practically fell apart the moment you touched it. That's how you know this PR strategy was bottom-of-the-barrel desperation. But you won't believe what they tried next. Now, this is where the tea kettle really started whistling. The rumor mill says Blake and Ryan were pushing to subpoena major Hollywood stars, allegedly even Taylor Swift, to dig up messages that might shift the narrative. Let me tell you something. When you drag T Swift into a legal kerfuffle, you've got an interesting brand of trouble on your hands. Why are messages between Blake, Ryan, and Taylor so important here? People suspect they might contain behind-the-scenes truths that would either demolish Blake's case or reveal dirt on other big names. And let's face it, once you open that can of worms, there might be no going back. The speculation is that Blake and Ryan are terrified of what might leak if the court allows all their digital chatter to become evidence. Maybe it proves they set this whole lawsuit up as part of a calculated PR move. Maybe it shows they coordinated with media outlets to spin a scandal out of thin air. We don't know for sure. But baby, where there's smoke, there's fire. Judge Lyman, again, made it clear that being a superstar doesn't mean you get a pass. And so here we are, with legal watchers raising their eyebrows and popcorn sales skyrocketing. It's unusual to see a star's private conversations threatened like this unless there's a darn good reason in the eyes of the court. And let's just say, the idea that Ms. Lively might have to turn over text messages that blow her entire story wide open has turned this lawsuit into a ticking time bomb. But the desperate moves were about to go from shady to downright bizarre. I kid you not, sis. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds apparently decided if Hollywood PR firms couldn't handle their meltdown, they'd hire folks with a bit more special ops experience. Yes, word is they brought in some former intelligence operatives to manage the crisis. Y'all, let that sink in. We're talking about professionals who might have been used to dealing with hush-hush government operations, now trying to save a celebrity from her own messy lawsuit. This is next-level desperation. And if that wasn't enough proof that this entire fiasco is a lost cause, guess who also tried to jump ship? Her own public relations team. Yep, rumor has it that Leslie Sloan PR, which once happily spun her image, wanted out of this meltdown. When your personal spin doctors throw up their hands and say, "We can't fix this," you know you're done. Even hardcore PR pros can't sprinkle enough fairy dust on a scandal this big. So why go to such extreme lengths? Maybe there's even more scandalous dirt hidden somewhere, and Ms. Lively is petrified it'll come out. Maybe it's about saving face for Ryan, who probably doesn't want his brand tarnished by his wife's questionable drama. Or maybe it's all of the above. One thing is certain, Hollywood watchers are saying this is the first time they've seen a celeb meltdown of this magnitude tied so intimately to bribery rumors and off-the-wall allegations. As it stands, not only is the public getting fed up with the endless changes in Blake's story, but major players in the film industry are taking notes. People don't want to be associated with a star who tries to manipulate lawsuits or bribe judges, especially if it's all to cover up inconsistent testimony. That's a recipe for career suicide in Tinseltown. And with all that said, let's bring it home with the big conclusion. So there you have it, honey. The disintegration of Blake Lively's lawsuit in all its messy glory. We started with her playing the sad, wounded victim. We saw that pitiful attempt at a 180-page legal filing that felt more like a grocery list of PR spin. Then came the contradictory video that showed her smiling when she claimed she was uncomfortable, followed by the desperate scramble to change her story twice. Sprinkle in $100 million rumors of hush money, a shady AEO request to keep evidence hidden, and hush-hush anonymous witnesses who conveniently popped up out of nowhere. Finally, top it all off with accusations that Justin Baldoni was too nice, plus the rumored involvement of actual ex-CIA agents to scrub her image. Phew, child, my head is spinning, and it ain't from caffeine. The most jaw-dropping part is the possibility that Blake Lively tried to bribe the very system that was supposed to be her platform for justice. Judges aren't here for that, sugar. They see right through these Hollywood cover-ups, and now even the mainstream press is starting to turn on her. And if there's one thing we all know, it's that once the Hollywood machine chews you up and spits you out, it ain't easy to claw your way back. Especially if it's revealed you tried to bend the law with a nice big check. Where do things go from here? Some say she'll settle the lawsuit before a full-blown trial. Others think she'll risk a deposition that could expose her further. Either way, the damage is already done. This meltdown has revealed that not only can a celebrity's image go up in flames overnight, but also that the lengths these stars go to protect their brand are downright mind-blowing. And with that, we'll let the credits roll. Thanks for supporting the Gossip Wire. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more of the hottest celebrity news online.